Hey guys, and welcome to this week's podcast. They're going to talk about something very cool, actually, especially for the feminine, but when any kind of healing really starts to happen, something very unique actually takes place, which is truly, in my experience, the best form of healing is radical honesty. As a matter of fact, I will argue with that. I will fight with that. I will be going on any podcast I get invited on. I've been on quite a few, and I will be on more. That radical honesty is the deepest, most profound medicine that any couple can ever take, any couple can ever go through and deal with. But individually, something very unique happens within this type of work. That when you follow the map and the path of speaking radically honest, bringing radical honesty as a medicine to your relationship, no longer hiding behind everything, no longer being in the type of relationship that is scary and walking on eggshells, and learning the skills to bring truth to the surface, to speak it out, to not be afraid, to face uncomfortable situations together, especially that the man is in the lead of doing that the man is in charge of the truth. Doesn't mean women don't say the truth and can't say the truth, but trust me, women have been saying the truth this whole time. That's why you're probably listening to this. The odds are very high that your wife showed you this podcast, your wife brought you to me. The woman is the one who is constantly in constant search of healing and constant potential, and real growth and process through her nervous system is very natural and normal to her. So she may not know how to speak the truth. She may be afraid to speak out. She may be having a difficult time communicating what's important to her, and it often comes out as fights, or she's nagging, or she's too critical. All these different things are very normal in all relationships. But what I'm here to talk about on this podcast is when you actually expose yourself to dedicating yourself to a life of radical honesty and pursuing the truth through polarity, meaning understanding that what a man needs to heal is different than what a woman needs to heal. How women heal is different how men heal. We need different things. We process things differently. We go through a different process together. And this is a big part of what I specialize in, which is understanding our differences, polarity, and bringing the truth to the surface through our differences. Being able to not filter yourself, or filtering yourself in such a dynamic, relatable way to each other, especially for the feminine emotions that need to come out and need to express themselves. That is how she bonds with her partner through oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone for everybody. And women do it by expressing themselves emotionally, feeling held, feeling seen, feeling safe, and getting out that waterfall of emotions that needs to come out from her to him for the relationship. And we're no stranger that usually, because of the lack of skills, comes out in a way of hypercritical, lots of demands. I can't really meet them. It's hard to be a perfect cousin for you. You have so many different needs that need to come out. But once you guys start to investigate what true polarity is, what real healing actually represents, and how to actually truly heal your marriage and your relationship through honesty, through what I call radical honesty. I didn't make that up. It's not mine. I just call it that. I've heard it all over the place. But through radical honesty is the medicine that actually opens up the gateways to healing. Not just your marriage, your childhood trauma, your anxiety, whatever. I'm not saying these are cures for depression and anxiety, which in my experience they are, but I'm not prescribing that. I'm saying that the idea of bringing the poison out, bringing what has been hidden to the surface, exposing the truth to the light, or the darkness to the light, the fear to the light, the anxiety to the light, the fear of walking on eggshells, the fear of having this type of reaction that happens in couples. She's going to react this way. He's going to react that way. Therefore, I filter myself. And through that filtering, you build resentment, you build disconnect, you become roommates, your intimacy goes out the door. All these different things start to happen. And so a big part of my program is exposing the people that work with me and each other how to wield radical honesty as a truth weapon, as a healing balm, as a medicine that you take, that this needs to come out. A good example is, I have been feeling this way for so many years. I've been terrified to tell you about it. I really hate it that every time your parents come around, you seem to really take their side and you kind of ignore me, and you kind of just fall into this weird family dynamic with them, and I feel not chosen by you. Usually it's the women saying this, not always. It happens with the men too, the women too. When the wife's family comes around, he becomes the schlepper. You know, that's very common. Everybody ignores him, and he's just like this fly on the wall. He's the third wheel, and vice versa. The man just kind of goes off with the family and kind of ignores her and the kids. It's very common, but she's tried to bring it up. She's exposed herself to trying to tell that to you, or him trying to tell that to her, and it ends up with a big fight and a big disconnection, and everything goes, backwards and everything like that. And so what we do as couples, especially for the woman, she starts to filter herself. She starts to play it small, walk on eggshells, be afraid of your reaction, shut down emotionally. Her body shuts down, her curiosity shuts down, her connection with you shuts down, because every time she tries to bring up this very serious issue that she has with you in the marriage, it gets very belittled or argumentative or defensive or angry, and all this stuff starts to flow out of you. But like I said, when you go through this and you learn the skills of armoring up, putting on this idea of confidence, understanding that her nervous system truly needs to feel seen and heard, and you can park your emotions and your logic and listen to them, this is where you start to build safety. And safety shows her over and over and over that she can be more honest with you and safe. More honest with you and safe. Safe honesty, and it grows and it compounds like a snowball, and that compound energy turns into a relationship that you guys get better and better at handling the truth. And then it gets to a really beautiful spot in your relationship where the truth is so special to you that you can handle her anytime, anywhere, meaning she can give you a warning like, hey, I need to put some armor on, and I need to say the truth to you, and I'm not afraid of your reaction because you've shown to me tons of trust, tons of consistency, tons of reliability. Pillar number 2 in my work is called keeping your word. One of the most attractive things to a woman is a man who keeps his word. So he shows her constantly, I am safe, I can handle your emotions. I am safe, I can handle your emotions. Okay, that point where couples get to in their relationship is a big topic of what we're going to talk about today. So I just mapped out what happens when you understand that the purest medicine and healing factors for your relationship is practicing and mastering radical honesty with each other through safety, through protection. It doesn't just mean you get to say whatever you want whenever you want. It doesn't matter how hurtful it is. That's not what it means. It means getting really good at feeling safe, speaking the truth, feeling safe, speaking the truth, and it gets better and better and better. You get professionals at it, you get really good at it, you become a team about it, it becomes something very beautiful. So that is the goal to get to. It's the very first exercise I tell people, called clearing off the counter. And when you clear off the counter, you're exposing and practicing doing the truth together. You're practicing being honest with each other, especially for her to him right now, because that needs to be something that is developed over time, because she spent so many years filtering herself, trying to be in this relationship with you because she wants to make it work. Men are pretty oblivious to the emotional turmoil that's going on a deeper level. We know surface level, and we kind of just ignore it, and we try to live our life. But it's very difficult for her this whole time to be this filtered, kind of unexpressive, scared to deal with your reactions, because you've showed her over time, over and over again, how much you're unreliable with your reactions. So once you get there, once you get better at clearing off the counter and practicing radical honesty, something very interesting happens. And, it's taken me, 10 minutes of talking to kind of tell you that the point of this podcast is, for today, women, let's talk about women first. I'll talk about both. It happens to both men and women. It happens to women much more deeply, much more quicker, and she's much more aware of it. So what happens is she kind of has a little bit of an identity crisis. What does that mean? I don't mean literally. She doesn't lose who she is. What happens is that for so long, she's been in fight or flight mode. She's been in her prefrontal cortex, which is the problem solving and mapping out and doing everything right. But what that does to her nervous system, it puts her in her masculine, and she's so used to operating from there for so long. She's so used to being in that, masculine role in her head, in her body, and in her expressions, that when you guys actually work on your relationship and it really starts to heal you guys through radical honesty, through accountability, through doing all these like beautiful exercises that you work with me on, that I've seen it every time. Some women go through it for a long time, months. Some women freak out for a couple weeks, and I don't mean freak out in a negative way, just like, whoa, I don't know who I am. And let me just help you with this. And I'm not saying in like this literal traumatic way. And there's some times where that kind of happens. It's not that big a deal. Don't be afraid of it. Definitely don't be afraid of it, because it's something that you should embrace significantly. But what happens is you've never really had the opportunity in your life, which is totally normal. It's the way that you were raised. It's the way that you were... just adjusting my mic right now. Let me go in and fix that part of it later. So it's the way that you were raised. It's the way that your parents were in the home. It's the way that you might have been even a little girl, of being everyone's mother, taking care of everything. This is very, very common that, little girls and as they become women, they're so hyper aware of their surroundings. They're very advanced little creatures. And especially like look at boys versus women. Like statistically, you can look this up, like women advance sooner, they talk sooner, they walk sooner. They're very advanced, software, amazing little creatures that become these beautiful women, and they become these beautiful souls, and they kind of become these like creatures that really are hypersensitive to their surroundings. It's called diffuse awareness. And during that time in your childhood, it's very common that for you to fit in a comfortable box, your whole nervous system goes into fight or flight mode, and you don't even know it. It's very common. Not everybody, but the vast majority of women statistically kind of go into this role of being this people pleaser, walking eggshells. You don't want to mess up with your mom. You don't want to mess up with your dad. You don't want to mess up with your siblings. You want to be a good girl at school. You want to get good grades. You want to have friends. It's common. Both men and women go through this. Little boys go through this differently. We're much more competitive and aggressive. When we get it out on the playground, we fight and we yell and we call each other names. It's all coming out. That's why men are a lot more less in tune to emotions, because honestly, we're not carrying around all this stuff. We fight, we get it out. And that's a whole study and system that we don't need to talk about right now. But it's all related to this idea that from a very young age, if not your entire life, especially you go from your parents' house to getting married, you're living with this man, and you now treat him that way, and you feel that way towards him. So when you get introduced to radical honesty and you get this safety finally, I saw it with my wife. I see it. Everybody who does this work properly, I have never not seen it. And I don't mean to sound arrogant with that. I just have never not seen that finally in her life, she has an environment, a man who loves her, a nervous system that's feeling safer, a place where she can truly let off all of her performative masks and actually talk and feel and be who she is. And I will tell you that all of the women that go through my program that do this correctly, some hit it later, some hit it right away. It all depends on their husband. It depends on how dedicated they are to the program. Everybody's different. But every single time I get some sort of question or long conversation or lots of tears even of, Yehuda, I don't know who I am. I've always been operating from this fight or flight survival wearing masks situation. And this whole idea of women finding retreats, working with other women, doing all these good things for them, this is what they're experiencing. In little microdoses, in my opinion. So these little microdoses, how it works with these women that go to these retreats and they go and they learn in these books and they're connecting themselves to other women is amazing and everything. And you see them have this like breakthrough or identity cry, whatever healing, all these different things. It's all great. And one of the big things that I'm talking about here is the reason it happens in little spurts and they keep going to these things and it's because they're being exposed to the truth of their situation. And so often that their identity has been so wrapped up for so long in this mask wearing, people pleasing, walking on eggshells because of other people's reactions, their father, their mother, their husband, all these different things. It happens so far every time where I hear somebody saying, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I like. I don't know what to ask for, because they've been operating from this masked up persona to survive in a crazy environment, and from parents to husband to you name it. And so it's very common. And one of the things I'm going to talk about now is this idea that when she's feeling this way, how to help her through, where is it that I can find myself? What speaks to me? And I start very slow and I help this couple. I help him. I speak to him and I say, you have to help her through this. You have to be open to the every version of her. And I don't mean it's like unhealthy things and toxic things and, unsneeze things and stuff like that. I'm not into that. I'm like, well, I have to go be rebellious in order to find myself. Unfortunately, some people will support that. There's a level of it that is healthy. There's a kosher level of that, in my opinion. And there's also a whole lot of very unkosher levels of that, in my opinion, which means to go off and do things that are against your lifestyle and what you believe in, I don't agree with. You could do it within it. You could go and explore and be private and do things privately, do things in a holy way. But she should definitely speak about it. You should definitely talk about it. You should definitely encourage whatever it is. I'm not saying go do everything, but talk about it. Where is it coming from? Why is it happening? Encourage this. I'm giving you the eitzah that the advice that you as the man should definitely step in and say, I want to be open to everything you want to try and do, and obviously in a good way, in a kosher way. But also, even if it's on the edge, I'm not saying go do it. I'm not saying go do those things that are edgy. I'm saying talk about it, encourage it, don't push it away. You have to understand that when somebody is healing, when they're going through this, especially as a woman, that you finally, through your hard work as a man, you finally give her this opportunity to truly tap into her truth, to tap into a voice that has never had a voice, to be able to be there for her and hold her through it because of what we said earlier, because of you give the opportunity through radical honesty and safety and holding that space and being able to stay reliable and stay real and stay connected to the truth, to the real truth that is coming out of her, which is scary. She's never been able to even ask herself, what do I want? How do I ask for it? How do I speak about it? And then you have this man who's being consistent, safe, reliable, and saying, I got you, I'm here, let it out. Give me more of your emotions. Give me more of what you have to talk about. Give me more of how this works. Because the man in her life is following these steps, encouraging radical honesty in a systematic way, not a dangerous, unfiltered way, in a systematic, healthy way, which I teach couples how to do, to bring out the truth in her life and what she needs. And so your whole backbone is on the line here as a man to stay strong and to encourage her to bring out this truth in her. Maybe it's spending 6 months being really mad at her parents with you. Get her back. Be mad. I'm not saying go abuse people, but I'm saying between you, be pissed, be mad, go be rebellious. Maybe it's a thing of writing letters. Maybe it's you name it. There's so many things that so many people need to heal. And the more that you become in that leadership position as a man, as the husband, to encourage it to come out, the more your relationship will blossom. The more that you have her back, the more that you lead this healing, the more that you bring it on and you help her heal through this and find her identity. Well, what do you like? What can I help you with? What do you want to go do? You want to go get lost in some backcountry town and just walk around and pretend we're tourists, that nobody knows us? I've never been able to do that. I live in this community and I've never had a chance to just go be free. Okay, do it in a kosher way together. Do it in a healthy way. Like, become this healthy version of yourself together. So this is very important when you're navigating the waters of radical honesty. When you're trying to find your identity in the truth. So this often, because women are extremely more switched on to healing energy and truth and connection and being able to navigate themselves and be very self-aware. Women are naturally that way. That's how they're designed. They have diffuse awareness. They have, their operating system is 8 times faster than ours, all that stuff. Because they finally are experiencing the truth and being exposed to who you are and what you want to do. As a man, I walk you through and I tell you, and I will tell you, listen to this podcast. Encourage it. Encourage the healthy parts of it. I'm not saying, well, I want to go out to some crazy club and do drugs and all that stuff. Like, no, you need to, if that's what you want to do, you have to get some serious background help. I'm not saying not to talk about it. I'm not saying not to speak about it in a healthy container, whatever it is, but it doesn't mean you go do it. It means you talk about it, you explore it, you ask where it's coming from, what's the source of it, what can we talk about, what can we do together, how can we navigate this, all good and healthy and happy, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, this also happens to men. I can't tell you how many men's and hundreds of couples and hundreds of men that I've worked with that have gone through something like this, and they're becoming reliable, they're becoming consistent, they're becoming safe and regulated men, and they're truly working on themselves, and they are becoming that high value man. The vast majority of the time, these men are coming from a place of, I've never had the opportunity to know what I like, what I want to do. I've just been in this mode of either shut down service, aggressive service. I'm a workaholic. I'm lazy and I don't work. There's so many different versions of the man. But then when he gets exposed to what he needs to be doing, it's a lot different from the woman. Because when a woman is exposed to radical honesty and she feels safe and truthful and she doesn't have to perform anymore and she's feeling better and better and better with this wonderful man who's stepping up to the plate and providing that safety for her, she needs to slow down. She needs to rest. She needs to go walk in the woods and lay on the grass and cry and heal. And it's very much like growing a baby. It takes 9 months, It's very much like slowing down. The feminine energy needs to be watered like a garden and tended to with sunlight and water and beautiful shade and sunlight. And think of it like a beautiful flower that needs to be nourished. And when a man finds himself, and by the way, there's scientific evidence behind that what women need to release the progesterone and the estrogen to slow down, not feel the pressure, not feel the boss babe energy, to really just feel taken care of. Let others take care of you. Let yourself be taken care of. It totally heals literally everything about your body, your mind, your soul, everything. Men are almost the opposite. And I don't mean that men shouldn't sometimes, heal through the feminine. Of course, there's aspects of a man that needs to heal through the feminine. But truthfully, we heal a little bit of the crying and the connection and opening up, but that actually will end up releasing a lot of estrogen in your system, and that estrogen actually shuts down your dopamine receptors and it actually makes you sluggish. And there's all kinds of reasons why men don't don't do well off of too much estrogen. Their testosterone goes down, their drive goes down, they become lazy, they become complacent, they become complaining. It's dangerous. So men do need to have that heart, obviously, and heal and do real deep healing through being mad at their dad and their mom and crying about it and talking to God or whatever. Yes, have that mode, have that journey. Don't get me wrong. But so many people twist healing modalities up. So many people think that the way women heal is how men heal. And often how men heal is how women should heal. No, keep them separate. Cross-pollinate a little bit. Except for women, in my opinion, I don't see any place a woman would ever need to power through something to heal. The only thing I would say power through something to heal is in two ways. But it's normal and natural, and you have this ability anyways. To be a mother, to raise kids, you got to power through. You got to do a lot of stuff you don't want to do. That's normal and natural. Giving birth is the other one. I cannot ever relate to that. Obviously, it's not my place. But giving birth, you're powering through a very difficult, scary, painful thing, or hopefully not scary. Birth should not be scary. That's a whole nother topic. It should be natural, normal, and beautiful. But it should not be an emergency. But birth, regardless, is painful and difficult. But it doesn't have to be. Not my place to talk about it right now. But anyways, the general concept is, yes, that's difficult for obvious reasons. And number 3, where she powers through something, is what I often tell women that are going through this. Like, you're going to have to step back a little bit and be more patient with your husband. Why? Because it takes us a longer time to come online. It takes us a much more dedicated, slow process for us to really jump online and start to be safe, start to be regulated and consistent and be present and stuff. We're slower to this. So I almost say to the women, like, I don't like to say armor up to women. No, they should be taking off armor. They need to be taking off their masks. I just say, ladies, it's going to be a little hard in the beginning, and just be more patient with him. Please, trust me, he will catch up. He will if you let him. Stay out of his way and let him catch up. He wants to get it right. He wants to be a good man. Let him, and step back and let him. So keep that in mind. Those are the 3, pushing through childbirth, pushing through being a mother, and pushing through being patient with your husband. Besides that, I would never tell a woman to kind of grit through something. I would never, because it really shuts them down. It releases the testosterone in them. It releases the cortisol in them, and they get all messed up. Their thyroid gets all messed up. It's all connected scientifically. But for men, when I say to men, you're having an identity crisis, you're finally stepping into your leadership. You're finally having a systematic plan to become a high-value man, to be a high-value husband, to really, truly be there. I say to them, find difficult things. When a man finds the difficult and he challenges himself and he overcomes that challenge and he pushes through, not only do we need to just be humans about this subject and say, yes, that's good for men. Men feel accomplished when they do that. I hope everybody listening to this can just easily relate to that. That men have the most significant growth when they learn a little bit longer, when they push a little bit harder, when they lift a little bit more weight, when they stay up a little bit later trying to be successful in their business. And they have it with this balance of compassionate love and tenderness and care towards their wife and children and their life and even themselves, the compassionate love and care and generosity towards themselves. You have to have that balance. So that's like an obvious thing, but even scientifically, when a man pushes more, his cortisol helps him, his testosterone builds, his oxytocin gets released, his dopamine rises. This all is a way to literally make you stronger and healthier and more active. It makes you want to move your body. It makes you want to get outside. It makes you want to accomplish. When a man is sitting around doing nothing, has no ambition, has no goal, has no empire he's trying to build, his health will deteriorate, his depression will rise, his anxiety will rise. But when he is moving and growing and going after something, pushing himself, I'll give you a personal experience with my business that I do with coaching. Thank God I'm growing and growing. Things are going great. I did the podcast. I'm working on a book, and all these different things are moving. But I got to this point a couple months ago, 6 months ago or whatever,
I'm like, okay, things are great. Things are just kind of smooth. And I'm like, I don't want to be smooth. Meaning like, first of all, you want to be very successful. You want to have goals. And I'm like, okay, I'm inching towards them. But I realized I, just like I'm saying to you in this podcast, this is like just like I'm expressing to you guys right now, like I as a man need and want to be challenged. It is how I heal. I've done the research, I've done the studying. You can go do it yourself. You don't have to trust me. Go look up for 2 seconds online of how a man heals through adversity. A woman heals through slowing down and healing and going inward. A man heals by going outward and accomplishing and exercising, getting sunlight, moving your body, challenging yourself, learning a new thing. You will slow down as a man if you don't push through something. You will slow down as a woman if you try to push through something. So, quite often, in this level of healing through radical honesty, healing through being able to hold yourself accountable, being able to be there safely for your wife so that she has, and I'm saying this in a loving, generous way, that she has an identity crisis. I don't know who I am. I've never felt so safe to really have the time to ask myself who I am. What you do in that situation is you encourage her to slow down, be wild, let it out, be mad, go into seasons, be in your sad season, be in your mad season, be in your difficult season, be complaining, like I can handle it, I got you, do it. I want you to go through all of this healing. Men, hold your armor, communicate, over communicate through this. Bring out this idea of truth and resolution together. And men, what you need to do is when you find out this identity crisis or whatever you want to call it, push yourself to learn more, push yourself to grow more, push yourself to be more. This is how you will heal. Go beyond your comfort zone. Bring that out of you. So this is how you identify the identity crisis. This is how you heal the identity crisis. And this is how you grow. Women slow down, men speed up. So this is a very important place. God bless you. And I will see you on the next podcast. Let me know your comments and your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. Talk to you soon.